We'll see an upset by Ken Norton winning by a late knockout or probably for sure a decision. And if I'm wrong, I'm saying that because he gave me trouble
Here's
twice.
Norton coming in now. They consider him as receiving his master's degree in boxing because of him going 24 rounds with you, Ali.
That's right.
In the ring is Ken Norton. Ring record, 32 fights. Has a record of 30 wins, 2 losses. One of those losses in 1970 to Jose Luis Garcia. He was knocked out in the 8th round of that fight. And then, of course, he had his biggest win over Muhammad Ali, March 31st, 1972, and then turned around and lost to Muhammad Ali in 12 rounds on a split decision back in September. Ali yelling here at the right beside us that he is with Ken Norton, and the reason for that, of course, is that he doesn't like George Foreman one bit, because Foreman holds the title that he likes to claim. That's Ken Norton. 4.5 years in the Marine Corps, handled by holiday fighters. This has got to be the most exciting thing that's ever happened to him since the first Ali fight. A tremendous, tremendous build-up leading into this fight. There's been confusion over the scoring situation, the referees and whatnot. I'll review the scoring with you. It will be the 10-point must system here in Caracas, Venezuela. The loser of the round will get 9 points or less, the winner 10 points. If it's a decisive type of win in the round, then the loser will get 8 points. If there's actually a knockdown, it will probably be scored 10-7. Now, the referee is a fellow by the name of George Kurd, and I don't mean to mention that lightly because this has caused confusion. In fact, at 3 o'clock today, we weren't sure there was going to be a heavyweight championship fight. Good close-up view of Ken Norton, tremendous concentration. Ken Norton, who is considered intelligent, cool, a great competitor, does his handler and people like Art Rifkin and Bob Byron and Lloyd Schumann and A.B. Polinsky, who have worked with him with the holiday fighters. And now he looks over towards Ali and says, I'm ready. The fighters will be gloved in the ring.
As much trouble as he gave me for 24 rounds, he should whoop this chump.
Do you really believe, Ali, that he can beat this man?
Yeah, the man went 24 rounds with me, broke my jaw in the first round. I was in shape the second fight. Still, I barely won the fight. This man, George Foreman, fought out of shape, Fat Joe Frazier, hit him with a hard punch, had him on Quiz Street, knocked him down 6 times and still couldn't keep him down. Joe King Roman, or nobody, couldn't keep down. He haven't passed the test. He hadn't had no action in the past year and a half. And if this man, Ken Norton, boxing, keep his distance and give him the hell he gave me, as fast as I am, as accurate as I am, I couldn't whoop Ken Norton. And I'm have trouble with him. So I'm sure awkward punching, wild swinging, George Foreman. If you don't look up and knock him out early, see if I'm not right, Ken Norton will be the new world champion.
Ali, I don't know if you believe what you just said there, but you certainly sound convincing to me, and he did give you a tough time for those 24 rounds.
That's right. That's no fake. It's on record. I got films of it, and he was rough. George Foreman's in for some trouble tonight. I can't get on George. I was getting on him because he was idle. He hadn't been fighting nobody lately, but I got to get on him now because I can't get on him. I mean, I'm giving him credit because he's fighting the best man in the division next to myself, so he's making up for all of his idleness.
Ali, let me ask you this question. They say that Ken Norton has poor mobility to his left. He showed that in his fight against you. Does this make him more vulnerable to the real good hook to the body by the champion George Foreman?
Well, it's possible. You know, people say these things, but it don't always happen that way. I think George might be coming out now, but this man is awkward. He's rough.
As we take a look across, here comes George Foreman. You hear the combination of cheers and catcalls. Definitely the favorite here. As far as the crowd is concerned, is Ken Norton. As far as the odds are concerned, it's George Foreman. Both fighters on their feet in the ring. Foreman decked out in red. Ken Norton looking over towards Muhammad Ali and nodding, I'm going to get him. George Foreman has shown all the confidence in the world. One thing we're going to have to look for with George Foreman is that he is definitely a fast starter. He has 11 first-round knockouts. Foreman has a record of 39-0. There he is, bouncing around, all the confidence in the world. That's Archie Moore, who'll be working his corner there. One great lightweight. Of those 39 wins, he has 36 knockouts. What a tremendous record does this Haywood, California product have. His big win, of course, was over Joe Frazier in Kingston, Jamaica, January 22nd, 1973. the upset of the year to that point. What happened later on? The fellow on the other side, decked out in blue, Ken Norton, broke Muhammad Ali's jaw. This set off this confrontation here tonight. George Foreman bouncing around. Archie Moore in the background. That's Dick Sadler holding the glove in his hand. Sadler has been complaining about the officials. There'll be 3 officials outside doing the scoring, all Venezuelans. It's been the contention of Dick Sadler and Archie Moore throughout this situation that almost had the fight ended today. Earlier in the day, as I said, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we were not sure there was going to be a fight because of this pinched sciatic nerve. Ali, I hear you saying take your time to Ken Norton. What
I mean is don't go in there charging. You can't take it from George. He hits hard. To keep his distance, let George throw his punches for a few rounds, back up if he's got to, tie him up, stay out of range, and after 3 or 4 rounds, you'll see George Foreman break down. George Foreman comes out real fast, hoping to hit a man real hard. But if he can dance and jab him and move and don't run in, don't meet him head on, but keep his distance and box for 4 or 5 rounds. He's got plenty of time and he'll get confident in the later rounds because you'll see that George ain't too hot after 4 good rounds.
Ali, they tell me that Ken Norton has had problems with his left jab. He showed that in the fight against you before. In fact, in both fights, that he doesn't have the real good left jab.
Well, he's got a good left jab, but he was just fighting the fastest man in the history of all fighting.
Who's that?
And when you're fighting the fastest man in the history of boxing, you just don't hit him with a jab all the time.
Let's take a look at the size factor here. George Foreman, of course, 24 years old against Ken Norton, slightly older at 28. The weight, 224. Now, that's kind of deceptive for George Foreman because actually, when the weigh-in took place yesterday at noontime, George Foreman had his pants on and a pair of boots. So he's actually in about the same weight that he fought his last fight, about 220 pounds, against 212 for Ken Norton. Norton is not small. Both fighters at 6'3". Now look at this, the reach difference. 78.5. The reach for George Foreman, actually a half-inch greater is the reach of Ken Norton. It won't make that much difference in the fight, nor will the chest difference. Ken Norton, again, bigger in reach and the chest and biceps, 16 inches to 15.5 for George Foreman. As we look down, the forearm is a little bit bigger of George Foreman, 14 inches for Foreman, 13 for Norton. The waist, I don't know what difference that makes with heavyweights because they're in tremendous shape. And now this is where George Foreman gets a little bit bigger. 25-inch thighs to 24 of Norton. 17-inch calf to 15.5. Norton has the smaller legs. The neck, 17.5 for George Foreman to 17. That makes no difference in a fight at all. The wrists make no difference at all. And the fist, I've never heard of it making a difference in a fight at all. The big difference, of course, is the fact that both are 6'3" tall. Both have exactly the same reach. And this is a big factor in this fight because although it was a very effective fight for George Foreman in his win over Joe Frazier, Frazier was definitely giving up height and reach. And that was the difference in that fight. And that's why I believe that certainly George Foreman was able to handle Joe Frazier the way he did. Height and weight difference.
What you're saying makes a lot of sense. I just never thought about that myself. Because Norton is tall, he's just as tall, he stands up straight. He don't duck like Joe King Roman. He don't duck like Joe King Roman or Frazier. He keeps his distance.
Well, Ali, when you talk about the boxing and the ability of George Foreman, the way he starts so fast, this could be the big key in this fight as well.
What'd you say?
The way he starts so fast, the way he comes on in the first round could be the big key.
I think that George looks a little wary now. He's not that confident. I've been fighting myself. Norton is confident. He's jumping around, and George Foreman is a great fan of mine. He idolizes myself, and he knows how much hell I caught with Norton. And he knows tonight this is not a Joe Frazier or Joe King Roman. He knows he's in with a man who's been to college. He's got a degree from the Muhammad Ali school.
Muhammad Ali, and who can tell it better than Muhammad Ali? The fight is being introduced in the ring here. Introducing fighters here at ringside. With me is Muhammad Ali. I'm Bob Shorten to describe the blow-by-blow, and from time to time you're going to hear Muhammad Ali telling you exactly the way he feels about this fight.
Bob, I think we should say hello to all our friends down on Miami Beach, because that's you and my stomping ground, you remember?
We've done some stomping around Miami, all right, Ali. Talking about the fight again, they say that, and they say this about you too, that George Foreman has a tendency to push against the fighters that he fights against. There's Oscar Bonavena right up above here, and Oscar Bonavena now is trying to get Ali to go into the ring. There's Joe Louis in the middle of the ring. Former heavyweight champion of the world. loved by everybody. He got a tremendous ovation when he came into the Poliedro here in Caracas earlier. Joe Louis, that's Oscar Bonavena with him. And now here's Ali trying to get up and talk to Bonavena. Bonavena's got the jacket off. They've been into it 2 or 3 times already. Sit down here, Ali. We got a fight to broadcast here tonight. Wait till after the fight, then you can go against Bonavena. Oscar Bonavena. Ali, you really want a piece of this man, I guess.
Well, I knocked him out once in the 15th round. The fight was kind of close. He says if I didn't knock him out in the 15th, he would have won. And I don't know. He just makes me, I shouldn't blow my cool like this, but I just ain't going to have no man standing over me, threatening me of all people. I'm the threater. He don't threaten me.
You certainly proved that on national television one day.
You're right.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have our national anthem. This is the Venezuelan national anthem. Venezuelan national anthem, and now, of course, we'll have the American national anthem. Fighters continue to stay loose in the ring. Foreman looking extremely serious and concerned over there. A lot more concerned than he has certainly leading up to this fight. Kenny Norton on the other side is concentrating. You can tell by his face. This will be the biggest fighter that George Foreman has actually gone up against since probably Jack O'Halloran. Ken Norton just said after your school, Ali, he said, I'm going to handle this man. Kenny Norton will be decked out in blue. Both fighters, 6'3". Now, ladies and gentlemen, with pride, our national anthem.
Through the
Video Techniques in association with Telemedia presents live from Caracas, Venezuela, the World Heavyweight Championship. George Foreman versus Ken Norton, 15 rounds. Hello again, everybody. Bob Sheridan along with Muhammad Ali here at ringside for the heavyweight championship of the world is at stake. George Foreman coming into this ring with a record of 39-0, 36 knockouts, the tremendous record of 11 first-round knockouts, 21 of 36 KOs in 4 rounds of less. That's Ken Norton, a record of 32 wins, 32 fights, 30 wins, and 2 losses, a tremendous record in his own right. Lost to Jose Luis Garcia in Los Angeles in 1970. After that, he won 14 straight fights, including a victory over Muhammad Ali, until he lost to Ali back in September. And now it looks like we're just about set as the fighters are being introduced. They're talking about the weights coming into this fight. Coming into this fight, the referee is George Curd. And this has certainly been a big problem with this fight because of the fact that the handlers of George Foreman, namely Dick Sadler, wanted an American referee, but it's not to be that way. Fight is being introduced.
Like I say, that's awful bad to make a protest like that and lose it, because mentally he's lost 1 round before the fight started.
Now we understand that the referee, and this has been quite a thing, Jimmy Rondeau is the referee. Jimmy Rondeau. Jimmy Rondeau is an American from Seattle, Washington. So it looks like Foreman's people got their wish. As I mentioned a while ago, this fight was in doubt up until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Suddenly Foreman came up with a bad knee, but evidently when Jimmy Rondeau was announced as the referee, things were settled. Here they are in the center of the ring. What do you think about Muhammad Ali when you're in there like this?
Well, right now, you know, you're a little nervous, you're a little shaky in the knees. But it's a funny thing, after I guess ball players experience the same thing. After the bell rang and you come out and the first punch is thrown, then it's just like another day in the gymnasium.
There it is from a man who certainly knows.
George Foreman and I have just been offered $5 million apiece, which is unbelievable, by the government of Zaire, which used to be known as the Belgium Congo in Africa. And if he can win this fight tonight, which I don't think he will, if he win the fight, he and I will defend, he'll have to defend his champion again in the Congo.
Well, that's certainly your territory, Ali, but right now, talking about this fight, look at the concentration and the stare job that Foreman is putting on Ken Norton. Norton certainly has plenty of confidence in his own right. Norton on the right-hand side of the screen, George Foreman on the left-hand side. Here we go, round 1. The heavyweight championship of the world is at stake. Let's watch and see if Foreman comes on strong. To this point, Norton has thrown the only punch. A light left on taken on the gloves by George Foreman. Wild left hand over the head of George Foreman. Both fighters exactly the same size. Foreman slightly heavier, about 7 or 8 pounds heavier. Norton and Foreman both 6'3". On the right-hand side of your screen is the champion, Foreman. On the left-hand side is Ken Norton. Norton in blue, Foreman in red. Round 1 just underway in Caracas, Venezuela. Foreman showing the concentration. Foreman looks a little bit more patient than we've seen him. He knows he's got a fight cut out for him because he's in against a real big fella. Foreman goes out with that light left taken on the shoulder by Ken Norton. There's the pushing tactics. Foreman starting rather slow, feeling Norton out. Norton, and that won't call it a classic style, but certainly the style of dragging that right foot behind him. Vicious left hook goes over the head of the champion.
Boxing, Kenny. Boxing, Kenny.
Pretty good straight left hand thrown by Foreman, taken on the face, and a right hand to the kidney. That's a punch you've got to watch out. There's a good left hand, the best right that we've seen. Foreman pushes down in the head of Norton and landed a right hand, straight left hand to the face of Ken Norton. Norton trying to jab more with his left hand. This is what they say he has to do. Kind of a fishing left hand thrown by the champion. Right hand to the kidney thrown by the champ. Both fighters, the best punch is their left hook. There's the right hand again to the kidney of Kenny Norton. Norton takes a light left, throws a right of his own. 1 minute remaining in round one. Very even first round at this point. Light left hand taken, wild right hand, another left hand taken on the gloves by Norton. Norton scores with a left hand to the side of Foreman's head. Left hand miss, and left jab in the face of Foreman. Light left on the forehead. Pretty good left hand on the forehead of Ken Norton. Norton with his back up against the ropes. This is where he can't afford to stay. He slips the punch and slides around to his left. Very important type of movement. Norton hanging on with that left hand and tries to throw that wild right hand to the body. Foreman is not a great boxer. He's a great puncher, though. Norton is a good boxer. As Foreman comes in and tries to hold up, Norton backs up. 9 seconds remaining in this round, the first round. Foreman kind of feeling out Norton. There we go, the opening round of the heavyweight championship of the world in Caracas is history. Mohammed, what did you think of the first round?
Just like I thought it would be. Ken and Norton boxing. George Foreman not throwing all those hard punches and punching them out easy like he did Joe Frazier, because Ken and Norton's a great fighter. Any man that goes 12 rounds, 24 rounds with me, it's got to be great. And ain't no George Foreman, who's still a good amateur, going to destroy Ken Norton, because I couldn't do it. And I'm proud of what Norton did, because it shows the world that Norton is a great fighter.
That's George Foreman we're watching. He hardly looks like he's built up a sweat yet. That's Archie Moore working on him. His handler, Dick Sadler. Coming up to round two. First round very even. Maybe a slight edge on the amount of leather landed on Norton would have to give to George Foreman. Muhammad Ali is continually yelling instructions to Ken Norton. This is Norton's corner here now. Norton filled with concentration. He's a positive thinker. In fact, he won the Napoleon Hill Award for positive thinking, a foundation award. Here we go, round two, the heavyweight championship, Caracas, Venezuela. George Foreman, Ken Norton on your left. Now watch Foreman try to cut off Norton in the corners, but Norton is working the left jab much better as he slips a punch and out of that corner. This is what Norton must do. Long right hand that lands just on the left-hand side of the head of Foreman. Norton tries to jab. Foreman holds those hands up and tries to push. No damage done there. Foreman pushed that away. Foreman will try to push him. He'll push his man down with his left hand and then throw the right. Foreman see him trying to cut Norton off on the corners. Kenny Norton has got plenty of boxing experience. 24 rounds with Ali, is a master's degree in boxing at any man's school. This is what he can't do. He can't mix it up with Foreman inside. Referee Jimmy Rondeau separates the fighters. First real clinch of the fight. Round two, scheduled for 15, the heavyweight championship of the world. Oh, a good right hand on the left-hand side of the face of Norton. Norton is a bit stunned as Foreman is teeing off, and it looks like Norton has really been staggered as he went up against the rope. The referee is giving it the count. Yes, he'll have to take the 8 count. Okay, 7, 8, and here we go as Foreman comes banging on in the second round. Norton goes down again. A left hand on the side of the head. Norton goes back. He'll have to take another 8 count. No, he doesn't. His legs are rubbery as the left hand goes to the side of his head. A right uppercut, a left jab, and a vicious left sends Norton crumbling to the canvas for the second time. Norton is in Queersville. He doesn't know where he is. It's up to 5, 6. I don't know if Norton can make it. It might be all over right here. It's up to 9, 10, and are they going to continue it, or are they going to stop it? It looks like it may be all over, and it is all over. George Foreman retains the heavyweight championship of the world. We'll make our way into the ring here and talk to George Foreman, who has retained
heavyweight title. George! George! Hey, let's get George over here for television. Champ! Let's get George on television. Millions of people around the world. George wants to bout everybody. A lot of confusion in the ring here in Caracas. We're going to get to the heavyweight champion of the world, George Foreman, winner in a second round knockout. Wants to bow to everybody, reminiscent of the days, and certainly in the Olympic Games where George Foreman went around the ring with a flag. Tremendous second round knockout for George Foreman. We're going to get to him and talk to him. Watch the microphone. Hey, George. Let us get it, George. George. A million people around the world want to talk to the champion. George. George. Hey, watch it now. Watch it. Come on, champ. There's a million people around the world that want to talk to the champion.
Right on, Mr. Chairman.
Let's go. Let's get him on television.
Yeah.
Let's get the champion on television.
All these damn fools.
All right, I remember you now. No more talk.
Okay.
Yes.
Champ. Champ. Come on.
Great fight.
Champ.
Great fight, sir. Great fight.
George,
What is George?
come over here so we can get you on television. Will you please? Millions of people around the world. Champ, how about it? Did you think you could do it so early in the fight?
I was very fortunate to catch him with some good punches. The man is strong. He's got a good jab, which surprised me. Dick, I asked you not to get excited now.
Champ, the big story has to be what happened today with the leg. What was that story?
Well, God bless me. My leg is in bad shape. I have to get some rest on it. I couldn't even walk this morning.
Tell me, what punch did you actually drop him with, George? George, turn around for television, will you please? We've got certainly pandemonium in the ring here. Got pandemonium. George, what punch was it that you took him out with?
I think it was a number of right hands. They wasn't real sharp, but they were right on the button. Once I got him hurt, I didn't let him come out of it.
Did you really believe that you could take him out? I know the pre-fight you said you could.
Well, I've been punching hard, and I won. I'm proud, okay?
Okay, George. Never mind, Costello. We've got 100 million people listening to you right here.
That's right.
Okay.
All the people are important. Costello's like you, just another good guy.
Okay. George, where do you go from here now? The big fight coming up in September against Muhammad Ali?
Well, first I want to get home. My mother had to be hospitalized while I was away. So I have to go home and see my mother, see how she's doing. Then rest a bit and then see what's up.
Champion, congratulations.
Thank you.
Great, good talking to you. See if we can get over and talk to Kenny Norton now. If we possibly can, get our mic cords over here to talk to Ken Norton. Got tremendous confusion in the ring. Trying to get to Ken Norton. Trying to get to Kenny Norton here. Tremendous confusion here and complete pandemonium in the ring. Try and open it up here. Got to get Ken Norton. Tremendous confusion.
with right hands, and the referee, while the guy was on the ropes, the referee should get in there quick because, as you know, as long as the man is on his feet, he's still apt to hit me. So I went in there and took advantage of the openings, and I'm fortunate to win. Ken Norton is very strong, hit me with a good left hook, and he had a surprisingly good jab. So he's a blessed fighter like myself, and tonight I'll win, tomorrow someone else, but I'm blessed to be able to.
Will it be Ali in Africa?
I'd like to fight all the contenders anywhere. I think that Muhammad deserves a title shot. He's fought everybody in the country and won and been down on his luck, so there's no one in the country more deserving a title shot than himself.
You will fight him in September.
I'll fight anybody, anytime.
Okay, George, congratulations again.
Thank you, Howard.
All right. As you can see, the usual bedlam in ring center. George Foreman knocking out Kenny Norton at about 1 minute 50 seconds of the second round. Seemed a little sluggish, but always overpowering. And that's the story at ringside. George Foreman, the winner and still the heavyweight champion of the world. Howard Cosell reporting from Caracas, Venezuela.
He landed some important punches. I don't think they hurt me, but I got hit, and a good fighter probably wouldn't get hit.
You really thought that the fight would finish so sudden?
Beg your pardon?
You thought the fight would finish so fast?
No, I'm a puncher. Most of my fights have been in the first, second round. A guy have to be, he either have to get me or I'm going to get him, something.
You think it's going to be the first or second with Ali?
Well, I think it was very fortunate that it was the second with Ken Norton. And if God continue to bless me, as he have, I think that I'll be able to get the other people also. Sure, because he's not hurt now. He just got knocked out. Nobody's hurt.
What will be the next fight?
As a matter of fact, he asked his manager, he said, what happened? What happened? He's not hurt.
You have any plans for your next fight?
Not right now. You know, this morning I could barely walk, and it was with the aid of a lot of prayers. Went in my room and prayed hard. God enabled me to come in and fight tonight. I'd taken all kinds of shots, and nothing seemed to help, so it was a little faith that got me through here tonight.
Now we're going to have the replay of the knockout in the second round. We have that coming up right away. It was a dramatic second round knockout. Nobody really believed that this fight would go out in two. Here we go. Watch that. There's the left. Then look at that right uppercut. Tremendous right uppercut. Now here he comes on. Another vicious right hand. And that's the one that did the damage. That left hand put him out to stay. It was a tremendous uppercut. We'll have that again for you in a little while, I'm sure. A tremendous uppercut was the one that really did the damage, and then it was a lunging left hand that really took him down, and then he just followed up with that right, and it was all over. Here we go again. Watch this now. Watch. Norton holds up. There's a straight left hand. Snaps the head to the left. Now watch. He feints the left and comes across. A good left to the body. There's the right hand that pushes him down. Another left hook that goes over the head of Kenny Norton. The right hand catches him on the side of the head, pushes him away. Now watch this. Bang! That really knocks him in. Get him going the other way. The right hand crosses across, spins his head. Foreman still knows where he is at this point, but his legs are rubbery. Rather, Norton knows where he is, but his legs are rubbery. Foreman comes up with that uppercut. Now watch this one. There's the one that really spins his head. And look at that uppercut. There's the damaging blow. Now the legs go rubbery. Another vicious right hand. So it's two right uppercuts in a row that did the damage. Two vicious right uppercuts. They talk about his left hook. Here's Muhammad Ali again. Muhammad. They want you on national television again and around the world. How about that big fight coming up?
Tell me about that fight.
George Foreman, he's too slow. He can't hit me with that stuff. I'm a professional.
Turn around and face that camera over there, Ali. They want to hear about you and talk to you around the world.
He hit Ken Norton just like he do all his opponents. Caught him early. I admit he hits hard, but if a man can stay out of the way for 5 rounds, stick him, move, stay out of range, be in good shape, he'll retire George Foreman. This man depends on getting this man in the first 1 or 2 rounds. If he don't do that, he's frustrated. Stick him with left jabs with right crosses, tie him up and box him, and you'll retire him.
No, Ali.
I'm the only man that's going to whoop George Foreman, and I'm going to whoop him of all places in Africa, in the Congo, where the Lumumba boys are.
Now, Ali, now that you have your cool about you and you calm down at this point, I want you to answer this question. How could that man go 24 rounds with you and only 2 with the heavyweight champion of the world?
Because George Foreman is not as good of a fighter scientific as I am, but I admit he's stronger and he hit harder. I'm not a hard puncher. I'm not known for being a hard puncher. I fought many men like Floyd Patterson, Zoe Foley, George Fowler, who are stronger than I am. Many I couldn't knock out, Sonny Liston. But I'll tell you this, boxing ability, speed, whooping him on points, for the distance if necessary. Then I'll whoop him.
Well, fighting in your home territory, you couldn't be any happier the way this is coming up in September.
Why would you call Africa my home territory?
You've been telling me that for 10 years.
That's right, and if you come over there talking like that, we'll cook you.
That's it for Muhammad Ali. If I go over to the Congo, and I'll probably be there, I'm going to get cooked.